Hello everyone. Today we'll talk about heart rate variability, also called HRV. The title of my presentation is Heart Rate Variability as a Tool for Monitoring Recovery and Optimizing Training Performance. This presentation is for the research methods and analysis course. I will explain what HRV is, view three original research studies, compare the results, and discuss how athletes and coaches can use HRV's real training. My research question is: can daily HRV monitoring help athletes optimize recovery and improve endurance performance? My hypothesis is that daily HRV monitoring can help athletes individualize training intensity and to improve performance. However, I also believe that HRV should not be used alone. It works best when it's combined with subjective recovery, training load, and performance measures. In this presentation, I will focus on original research study methods, results, comparison, and real-world application. First, I would like to explain what HRV means. There is a variation in time between consecutive heartbeats. The heart does not beat with exactly the same time between every beat. These small changes are controlled by the automatic nervous system. A higher HRV trend usually suggests better recovery and stronger parasympathetic activity. A low trend may suggest fatigue, psychological stress, illness, or poor recovery. And uh, sympathetic system working. However, HRV is not a direct fitness score. The most important point is that personal trend is more useful than one isolated daily number. HRV matters because training adaptation depends on both training stress and recovery. Athletes need enough stress to improve, but they also need enough recovery to adapt. HRV gives coaches and athletes information about this balance. It may help them adjust training intensity, detect accumulated fatigue, reduce the risk of overtraining, and create more individual training plans. HRV is also practical because it's now available in devices such as Garmin, Whoop, and Polar. For this presentation, I selected three peer-reviewed original research studies. All three were published after 2010. The first study, published in 2016, examined recreational runners and compared HRV-guided training with traditional endurance training. The second study, published in 2018, examined elite Nordic skiers during altitude training. The third study, published in 2021, examined training load recovery and individual HRV responses in endurance athletes. Together, these studies show how HRV can be used in different endurance settings. The first study was conducted by Vesterinen and colleagues in 2016. The main question was whether daily HRV could prescribe endurance training better than a traditional plan. The study included 40 recreational endurance runners. The duration lasted 8 weeks. One group adjusted training based on daily HRV. The other group followed a predefined traditional training program. The independent variable was the training prescription method. The dependent variables include 3,000-meter running performance, VO2 max, and training intensity distribution. The HRV guided group improved 3000 meter performance by approximately 2.1%. The traditional group improved by about 1.1%, but this improvement was small and was not statistically significant. Max improved in both groups. An important result was that the HRV guided group completed forever Wagner's training session. This means HRV did not simply make the athletes train less. Instead, it may have helped them perform hard sessions on days when they were more ready. The second study was conducted by Mead and colleagues in 2017. The researchers wanted to know whatever HRV could guide training load during altitude training. The study included 24 elite Nordic skiers. The athletes participated in a 15-day live high train low altitude camp. The researchers compared HRV guided training with preferential training. The dependent variabilities include daily HRV, VO2 max, training load, and 10 kilometers roller ski performance. The study is important because it included elite endurance athletes. The HRV guided altitude group showed improvements in VO2 max. The athletes also improved their 10 kilometers roller ski performance after the training camp. The results suggest that HRV may be especially useful during difficult training periods. During altitude camps, athletes may recover at different speeds. A fixed training plan may not match every athlete's condition, while HRV can help make the plan more individual. The short study was conducted by Nutila and colleagues in 2021. The researchers examined whenever HRV reliably reflects recovery during increased training volume or intensity. The study included 30 recreational or trained endurance athletes. One group increased training volume, while another group increased training intensity. The researchers measured nocturnal HRV and heart rate, received recovery, counter movement, jump performance, running related measures, and maximal treadmill speed. The study is important because it examined both the benefits and limitations of HRV. And performance improved during the training period. At the same time, subjective recovery became worse as training load increased. However, HRV did not change in one simple way for all athletes. Some athletes showed noticeable changes, while others showed little changes. This means HRV response are highly individual. The researchers suggest that coaches should combine HRV with subjective recovery and performance measures. HRV alone may not provide the complete recovery picture. When we compare the three studies, four main conclusions appear. First, HRV can help guide the timing of hard training session. Second, it may be useful during stressful periods such as altitude, camp, or heavy training blocks. Third, HRV is most useful as a personal trend, not as one single number. Fourth, HRV should be combined with performance data and subjective recovery. Overall, HRV is the decision support tool. It can support coaches and athletes, but it should not make every decision automatically. Based on the research, athletes and coaches can follow a simple four-step process. First, measures HRV consistently, usually in the morning or overnight. Second, compare the result with the athlete's personal baseline. Third, adjust the training session when necessary. For example, a higher readiness may support an intense session, while low readiness may suggest an easier aerobic or recovery workout. Fourth, confirm the decision using sleep, soreness, mood, illness, and recent training load. This application section is important because research should lead to practical recommendation. HRV have several limitations. It can be affected by sleep quality, psychological stress, illness, travel, hydration, alcohol, and measurement error. A low HRV value does not automatically mean that the athlete should cancel training. It means the coaches should look more careful at athlete's full condition. HRV should be used as part of conversation with the athlete, not as strict comment. The athlete's feeling and performance are also important. In conclusion, the three studies generally support my hypothesis. HRV can help athletes monitor recovery, individual training, and improve endurance performance. It may help athletes train smarter instead of simple training harder. However, the strongest approach is to combine HRV trains with subject recovery, training load, and performance data. My final recommendation is to use HRV to help guide training intensity, but not to replace coaching judgment. Thank you for listening. This final slide presents three original research articles used in my presentation. The first article is by Westeranian and colleagues from 2016. The second article is by Schmidt and colleagues from 2018. The third article is by Nutella and colleagues from 2021. All three articles are peer-reviewed original research studies published after 2010. They include participants, research method, and depends variables and statistical outcomes, which were required for this assessment. Thank you. I will be happy to answer any questions.